Good afternoon, anglers. Welcome to this week's Indian Lake Fishing Report, brought to you by Indian Lake Outfitters, downtown Lakeview, Ohio. Hey, I have something for you. Good question. Have you ever wondered why all the anglers on bass boats are always pitching their baits towards the bank, and all the bank anglers are throwing out into the main lake as far as they can? It's always a unanswered question there. But truth be known, what you're looking for 9 times out of 10 is right underneath your feet along the bank. This week's weather has been up and down on Indian Lake. The fishing's been really good, but you have to work at it. The bluegill seem to be tucked tight into the rocks, and they're biting on small jigs, wax worms, little piece of night crawler tipped on a jig. Work your jig with your favorite plastic. You're gonna have to work it a little bit hard. Like I said, you're gonna have to use some finesse. The crappie a few days ago, they were 50 to a couple hundred, probably a couple hundred feet out onto the main lake, scattered around. They were starting to work their way in towards the banks and the rocks. Some were under the docks and the channels. Then our midweek storms that came in kind of pushed them back out and maybe down. The channel cat, they're biting on night crawlers. They're biting on jigs. To me, a terrible situation when they hit a crappie jig. You don't normally get them back in good shape. But the channel cat bite's still going strong just about anywhere around the lake. I hope you like this beautiful picture that I took at sunrise from the west bank on Indian Lake. It's a great looking morning. I started out this morning getting bluegill that were tucked tight along the rocks about a foot down. It seems like early evening you can catch mixed bags at a foot or two. They're feeding on the top of the water. I think there's still some bugs out there in the water. Saugeye bite's been a little bit tough, but that midweek rain, during that rainstorm, the saugeye bite was pretty strong. You just had to be out in it. The flatheads are still being caught on live bait at night. That bite is pretty hot yet. So you're going to want to make your way down here this weekend if you're a flathead fisherman. The West Bank's been producing a lot of fish still. You just need to walk that bank and work it. Black Hawk, when I started out this morning, that was the second spot I stopped at to work some lily pads, do a little jigging. Lo and behold, I caught a nice sized channel cat on a very tiny hair jig, a Popeye hair jig. So he was tucked in there waiting for breakfast. Folks, make your way down here. Spend some time. Like I said, that bite is still hot. You're either going to have patience, or you're going to have to do a lot of footwork. Set at one spot. Enjoy yourself. Fish under a bobber with some live bait. The bite's good. You just have to have a little bit of patience, like I said. Or if you want to run and gun, spend a little bit of time in one spot and move on. Moundwood's doing good on channel cat, especially on the other side of the bridge. Night crawlers under a bobber or off the bottom are producing a channel cat there. They're still trolling for saugeye anywhere around the islands out there. They're doing really good still. over towards Chippewa is producing saugeye too. So folks, make sure you get down here. I appreciate you watching this weekend's report. I wish I had more, but like I said, you have to do a little bit of footwork or leg work and get them before the dog days here, before it gets tough. I'm looking forward to fall. We'll have at that point we'll have some sort of a turnover in the water. We can talk about that later. That'll be easy enough to spot with a lot of sediment in the lake after the turnover happens, when that thermocline breaks. So spend a little bit of time, enjoy the rest of your summer on the lake. Don't get in no hurry. Do a little fishing. Till next week, catch some fish and have a great time.